everyone. Some of you know me, others don't. Brief introduction. My name is Vanessa. I'm an ACE certified personal trainer. The reason I'm doing this video is I like to demonstrate modifications for certain exercises or the different types of videos that some instructors put out there. And it doesn't have to be any particular instructor. It doesn't matter to me. And the reason I do that is because I find that as a fitness professional, sometimes I have a difficult time doing the exercises as the instructor indicates that they should be done. I know enough about fitness to perform a modification using good body mechanics and good form without sacrificing my form and still feel it in the muscle that I need to feel it in. Not everyone knows how to do that, and that's the purpose for this video. Now, because there are licensing issues or licensing restrictions or whatnot involved, I can't do the DVD, play it in the background while I show you the modifications, but I have a list written down of the modifications that I'll be performing, and today I'm going to be doing from the low impact series. Here's a list of the exercises, and I'll be putting this in the description as well. So don't worry too much about it. I couldn't read that. She put it up there too fast. I had to pause it. I'm going to put it in the description, so don't worry too much about it. So these are from the low impact series. I didn't focus too much on specific exercises from specific DVDs in this series because there are several times in this particular series that an exercise will be repeated more than once, 2 or 3 or sometimes 4 times. So that's why I have the list of the exercises, and I'll be performing how I modify them. Now, you don't have to modify them this way if you don't want to. It's entirely up to you. Now, the first one is squats with bicep curls. Now, there are technically 2 ways you can do this. You can do the squat and then do the bicep curl, or combine the 2 moves. I'll show you both variations. Now, if you're having hip issues or knee issues, I'm going to be showing how I perform this when I'm having my knee issues. If you have hip issues, then you limit your range of motion. You would limit your range of motion on how far you hinge forward on most exercises. Because if you are having the hip issue, you're going to feel it right in here in that hip socket most likely, and so that's going to limit how much or how little flexion or extension you might get out of the exercise. So, for the squats with bicep curl, feet about hip distance as Kathy instructs. Now, if she tells you to have them in a little wider, then yeah, you can do that. If you're feeling a little off balance, then take them a little wider. Squat down. Now, you stick your butt back behind you, bend your knees, keep your torso straight, but not straight like this. You just want it in one line. Push into the heels to stand, and then do your bicep curl. Now, if you are if you're doing both exercises simultaneously, then you would do it this way. You just don't go as deep. Or I'm not going to go as deep to modify it. Disc mountain climbers. Now, in relation to the mountain climbers, I don't use the discs, but I will use the fit tower. That I will use. But I tend to not use the mat that comes with it. So I'm going to put it off to the side. Now with the disc mountain climbers, you'd be on the floor. You can do this on the floor. You can do the mountain climbers on a step like this. I'm doing it this way. But for those that may have sinus issues or blood pressure issues, doing it on the fit tower might make it so that the body is more comfortable being up high in this position, like this. Because the head is above the level of the heart. When you're down here, see how my head in the alignment is not far from the alignment of my heart. They're almost stacked on top of each other. So when the head comes down, when it's more in a plank position, you might find that you have pressure in the head, or a sensation in the head. Not a bad sensation, but one that you don't have when you're standing upright. It's like, okay, let's talk about this a little bit. The body's talking to you and telling you, hey, back up out of this, or find a different position, something. And that's why I'm suggesting the fit tower. Is with several of the exercises, you can use the fit tower or something similar like the height of a chair. But make sure the chair does not have wheels because you don't want it rolling away. Make sure it has the 4 legs. So that you can accommodate whatever issues you may have by having your head in a more upright position and your heart is where it needs to be, as opposed to further down and everything is facing down. Okay, Dixie cup front lunges. You can use cups with this. Kathy sometimes has joked, instead of using a little Dixie cup, get a 32-ounce cup. You can do that. I omit the cup because when I do it, my knees don't allow me to lunge, to bend that far forward in order to reach that far down. And so this is how I'm able to do the Dixie cup front lunges. I'll have the same leg that goes forward, that same hand is going to be on that quad. The opposite hand is going to reach forward as though it's going to pick up the Dixie cup. So it's going to be like this. So I reach as though I'm going to do it. I do the same bodily motions that you would do on the exercise. I just don't have the prop to grab. Now, when I used to train clients, I would put a yoga block here. So if you want a prop that you can actually reach for, then you can have a prop where you can actually reach for it and do that. So you have a point to connect to. That's fine. Perfectly fine. No problems there. It moves really fast in the video for me, and so I don't think, oh, get the yoga block and put it down there. I just go into it. Okay. we have lateral skates. Now in the lateral skates, I tend to do my lateral skates, I always do them slower, so I do it like this. So I'm doing a step across and touch behind, basically. And on the days that my knees won't cooperate, I don't bend as far on the knee, but when they do, I keep the same speed, but I just slow down this little bend in the knee a little bit. But it still keeps the heart rate up. It does. And if you want to go faster, fine. You can take the bend out and just go a little faster. Just being cautious on your surroundings. Disc squat thrusts. We'll be using the tower again. Okay, so for the disc squat thrusts, you go back into almost like a burpee, and then you come up into squat thrust. And so I use my fit tower so that I don't have to go down onto this step and feel it all in the face and in the heart. So you come down here, out, out, in. And if you can't jump out, that's fine. And if she puts a push-up in, you can do your push-up here, and then bring it in, stand. Push up, bring it in, stand. Runners, sprints. Now, she may use a disc for this. I don't. And it's mainly because with the discs, I find that I tend to be a little off balance more than usual. I have discs, I just don't use them for this particular exercise. And so for the runner sprints, I just omit the discs, and I do it this way. So, leg in front, and you have the runner sprints doing this. So I'm going to show you to this side. Now, you try to keep this leg stationary if you can. Yes, there's a little bit of movement in my leg, but I'm not up here doing this. Unless that's what Kathy has you to do, and your knee will allow it. Cross under kicks. The tower's going to be used again. Let's try that again. Alright. Cross under kicks. Now, with the cross under kicks, I'm starting with the tower in this position, and she has the one leg crossing over and kicking, and then crossing over and kicking again. I'm just doing it at a higher elevation than what the exercise calls for. I still feel it in the same area that Kathy has us to feel it when she has us to do the exercise. I still feel it in the same place. I'm just bringing it up on an elevation so that it's easier for someone like me that may have allergy issues or someone that has blood pressure issues, because they can't go all the way down, or they shouldn't go all the way down to the floor to do the exercise. Disc jacks. This one is an easy one to show the modification, and I put the easy in quotes. The reason it's easy to modify is because you don't use the discs. I don't use the discs for it, but with the jacks, it's going to be like this. With the disc jacks, it feels harder for me. Even though the discs are there, I have to keep track of what the discs are doing. So, when I'm not feeling very coordinated, I'll do this on the disc jacks. I'll just go to a modified jumping jack. That's it. That's what I do is my disc jacks. And some of you may already know some of these modifications, and if you do, that's great. If not, that's why I'm teaching it. That's why I'm showing it to you. Spiderman mountain climbers. Spiderman mountain climbers. Okay. This one I'm going to show you the side view, as I've shown you the side view for most of the exercises. If any of you have seen any of the Spider-Man movies, I have seen the original with Tobey Maguire, and then Spider-Man 2, which also has Tobey Maguire. That's my preferred one. I don't like the remakes of it. You're going to use the tower. Now, you can use a step for this, but I find that the tower, it helps for those that may have sinus issues. Period. Now, you bring your feet back. Now, for the Spider-Man mountain climbers, the mountain climber is like this. Okay? So, Spider-Man, you're going to take your leg out to the side, and then out to the side. Like Spider-Man's climbing that wall. Now, you can tap it on the tower if you're using that tower. Or, if you're feeling adventurous, tap it out to the outside of it. Or, bring it up, like this. However you feel you can do it, just get it done. And just make sure that you're coming out to the side and not in, like this. So make sure that you're coming out to the side when you do the exercise. Because when we get tired, sometimes I'm out to the side and then the leg will migrate in, and then next thing you know, you're in here and just doing a mountain climber. So, all right. How much time do we have? Okay. We have dragging planks with push-ups. If you have a difficult time getting down on your knees, then do regular push-ups using the fit tower in place. So, if you're having a difficult time getting down onto your knees, then doing this. Just doing this type of push-up. And when in the video, when they're dragging, hold a plank. Do this. And then when they go back to doing their push-up, you do this. Now, if you want to get the arms a little more involved, then you can reach up and then reach up while they're traveling, if you want to do that. That, I think, would be an acceptable substitution. Okay. Now, with the dragging plank and push-ups, the only other modification I could suggest is, if you're using the discs, put them on your knees instead of on your toes, and do the same motion. So, if you're going to do it, I'm going to come way back here. Then putting the discs on your knees, and then drag. If the disc will let you drag, and then doing your push-ups that way, and then drag it back, and do the push-ups that way. If you choose to do it that way. If you choose to do it elevated, then do the one I showed you. Plank push-up on knees. Okay. Wall squats I remember. Now with the wall squats, here we go. I'm going to put this stability ball up against the wall. And if I remember how she does the plank push-ups on the knees, then I'll demonstrate the modification. Right now I'm having a brain fart. Okay. Do it the same way that Kathy instructs you. I'm going to take my feet super wide because I want a really, really wide base of support. Sometimes I use dumbbells in my hands, sometimes I don't. Today I'm not going to do it because I'm just trying to demonstrate something to you. Bend at your knees. Keep your weight in your heels. Now, today it's allowing me to go down, but most days I can only go down about this far and then push into your heels. And you continue doing that. Okay. Step lunges and step up combos. So, I'm going to use an 8-inch step and a 6-inch step. It's going to be the same on either the 8 or the 6. I'm going to have it facing this way because she may have a taller step than what is here. But, so you have foot that's on the step, put the weight in that heel, step up, come down, the leg that's on the step is the one that goes back. Step up. Now when this leg goes back, this leg, the front leg, carries the weight. Push into the front heel and do it that way. Okay. Elevated lunges, alternating Dixie cup pickup. Okay. So, elevated lunges, that means my back leg is going to be on the little step. Alternating Dixie cup pickups. Stability at its best. Alright. One arm, when you lunge, when you go into that elevator lunge, got to find the balance. Goes across to pick up, and this one goes across. Now, in the video, she may just show you doing this, which is fine. If you want to put a little more of a challenge in there, go across. Weight in the front heel. You really feel that fire in that leg. One leg cross over, dip squats. One leg crossover, so it's like this, squats. And then you have this. So when you see it from a front view, one leg crosses over. Now if you cannot cross as wide as what they do, then make it a little more shallow, more narrow. So keep the feet a little more in alignment and do it that way. Don't bend as deep. Keep the weight in the front heel. Leg crossover push-ups. This one is a little easier to show you. You get up into your push-up position, and you can do the push-up on the step if you prefer, that's fine. When you're going down for your push-up, one leg lifts up and crosses over. and go down for the push-up again. The other leg lifts up and crosses over. Like this. Now, if you don't have the fit tower, but you still want to do it on the step, here's how I do it. I get onto my knees, and I do this, cross, cross. That's how I do it. Okay, one more. Wide stance plank kickbacks. Now, you can do this on the floor. I have a tendency to do this on a step. And I have a wide stance, like what they do in the video. And so what I do is I have my wide stance, dumbbell here, and I kick it back. Now, if you prefer to use the fit tower as part of your wide plank, go for it. You just put your arm in the middle of the tower and do it that way. You'd be slightly elevated, but it'll still work, I guarantee it. You still need to keep the core engaged even when you're up at this elevation. Even though it's a low impact series, you want to make sure that you're working the whole body effectively. Alright. Those are all the exercises that I had planned on showing you in the low impact series in the Kathy Friedrich line. I will see you guys a little bit later. In another video, you may see me wearing the same shirt, and I have no problem with that. I'm just recording multiple videos on the same day. If you like it, give it a thumbs up. If not, I'm okay with it. I'll see you guys later.